Welcome back to the Wii YouTube studio, everybody. I need a tagline.
Put it in the comments. I have a tagline. It goes, "What is up, guys?" That's what I do.
There we go.
You need one of those.
There we go. Everybody, welcome. You can see we've got a special guest here today. We got Ben Petersen here, the legend in the industry.
Somebody called me a legend the other day. I'm like, I'm not a legend. I'm just a bro.
Totally legend.
Thank you.
At least moving towards legendary status.
Well, thank you.
You just need time, right?
I think legends like have to cure like a cheese or something. They have to go bad on you, and then they taste good.
I'm calling him a legend. He's got a tagline. I need a tagline. Leave it in the comments, guys. We were talking about it earlier. Anyway, we got some really cool stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
We brought Ben on for a specific reason. We have a brand new launch that is super exciting. What do we got?
We have the Banter in Micarta, which I'm super excited about. And if you've followed the story on this one, it's a bit of a saga, an epic, if you will. But I am stoked. We've got it right, and it is releasing mid-September in Micarta and S35VN steel from Wii Knives. And I'm stoked because it's not just a knife, it is a big story. We'll tell you about the story as we go along here. But not one, but two. Since this one took so long, the folks at Wii were like, "Don't you want to do the baby as well?"
Yeah.
And we were like, sweet, we'll do this baby banter in Micarta as well. So we made some changes, we made some modifications to the whole knife, and now we are back with the banter.
Yes, it has been a long time because I had one of the originals, which we'll talk about here, a year ago, more than that.
Yeah, so this thing was supposed to come out in like April of 2021.
Yeah.
And I was thrilled about it because we'd released the Banter in June of 2020. People were stoked about it, and they're like, "I want it in Micarta." And I'm like, all right, let's do Micarta. So the Banter design, when I designed it, I wanted it to be lightweight. And so what we did is we designed it with the front scale only having inserts, steel inserts. And so what this does is it reduces your weight on the inside of the knife, which is awesome for G10 because G10 is a rugged material that can be structural.
Yeah.
Then we're like, cool, let's make it in Micarta. Well, Micarta is basically layers of canvas or layers of material, fabric, like denim. Take your jeans and you layer them together and you put resin in between the layers, and then you compress it and you turn it into a hard material. Well, the problem with that hard material is it flexes. Now, if this is structural, you can see that there might be an issue there. And that's exactly what happened. And we is not the first company to have this happen. As I talk to people, I'm like, "Hey, what do you do with Micarta?" And they're like, "You always put steel underneath.
You line it, yep.
You line it." And I think looking back, it's like, well, of course you line it. Like, it's going to flex. And that's what ended up happening is the Micarta flex, because this particular piece on the internals of the knife was structural. And so what happens is you end up with the blade. So you imagine the blade in here, right there. If this flexes, your blade starts to wobble. Maybe not wobble, but it starts to get out of line and it gets off center, and your lock can have issues. So we solved this. This was iteration one. We solved this by going back to the drawing board and we put in a steel liner.
Yeah.
Simple solution. Obviously, your weight's going to be just a little higher on the Micarta version because of that steel, but it makes it so that the Micarta isn't structural. And that means that it's not going to have the same issues that the previous one did. So while we were at it, though, I was like, hey, since we're here, what else can we do? So we changed a few things. We put an ambidextrous pocket clip on it. So you lefties out there, you southpaws, you 1% loud southpaws.
Right.
I love southpaws. Can we talk about southpaws for just a minute? Like, these guys are like the most vocal crew in the world. They're
Passion.
like,
Lots of passion.
you didn't put an ambi clip on it? Like, they come after you.
Yeah.
And they came after me. So for all you southpaws, there is an ambi clip on there now. Additionally, so with the Micarta version, we cut back the scale just a hair. I think if there's one thing I could go back to the original Banter and change, it would be pull that scale back just a hair, and it allows the lock to be just a little bit more accessible.
A little better access.
It was one of those things that when I was designing the knife, I probably debated it for a full week. I'm like, do we pull it back? Do we leave it? But what we ended up doing is it was so perfect. They had the lock just slightly out. It was awesome because you didn't need it. Well, over time I've realized, yeah, you kind of need it. I have kind of skinny thumbs. Some people have bigger thumbs, ham hands, if you will. Ham hands don't work as well. So I'm excited about it. Comes out mid-September, and it's going to run, if I can remember my prices, I don't remember my prices. 110.75, I think.
I think that's the
right in the
price.
110. Yep. So that is the Micarta version of the Banter.
So that we ought to mention. So I had one of those. I still have one of those that I actually carry.
Yeah, some escaped.
Some of them got away, and mine's perfect.
Yeah.
So the thing is, you noticed in the testing that there were a couple of them or a few of them that had this issue, while others were still perfectly fine.
Well, and so keep in mind, Seth, we live in Utah, right?
Yeah.
Like we're sitting here in like 0% humidity, and so that flex, because micarta is a natural material, and that's what makes it so cool. Is it absorbs oils, it absorbs whatever's around it, and it starts to patina. Well, if it's absorbing a little bit of water, if it's a humid place, that's where it starts to flex and where it can't be structural. But the reality is, so I had 12 units here in Utah. I checked all 12 of them. All of them were passable.
Yeah.
But when we looked at the knives in a humid environment in China, some of them had issues. And we're like, well, some are okay. Do you just like slip them out? And it literally like this kind of blew up at like 9 at night. And
because the inventory was already at dealers.
Yeah, so we had inventory in China and we had inventory at dealers. And the Wii team in China they opened a couple up and they're like, oh boy. And so they hit me up on via chat and they're like, there's this issue happening right now.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, and the analogy I came up with is like, if you know a bridge is bad, if it has issues, do you open the bridge? And that was the thought that kept coming to my mind. And you look at like car manufacturers, like think of how many car recalls are out there. And it's like, there's a car company that knew that their stuff was bad and they still released the vehicle. I don't think that's acceptable. And I'm grateful for Wii because they were right on board with me. I'm like, we can't, even if only a few are bad, we can't release it. And that to me is super cool. Like I'm stoked to work with a company because like financially, we recalled thousands of units.
Yeah.
Before they even went out, we pulled them all back. And financially, that's like a hit. Like that's a face hit, like right on the nose, right?
Right. You're absolutely right. And for the company to do that, I agree. Like it's an integrity move. It's really cool. And then everybody was like, well, what do we do with it? Now what do we do with all this stuff?
So this is where like immediately the chat goes like, okay, we're not doing them. Now what? And we're like, oh crap. And so what we ended up doing is, so G10 can be structural, and also carbon fiber can be structural. So I had no plans to release the Banter in micarta. Like eventually I wanted to, or sorry, in carbon fiber. Yeah. Eventually I wanted to. Turns out we expedited it because what ended up happening is we took every single Micarta Banter and we swapped the scales for carbon fiber. So we went and manufactured a new set of scales for every single unit. They shipped them here to the US because it's hard to move knives back over to China. They shipped them here to the US, and I went out and found two folks. In fact, Kyle, who works with, he's sitting here off camera.
We know Kyle.
Kyle and this lady named Amy Bell out in Tennessee, they swapped every single set of scales from micarta over here to carbon fiber, to a marbled carbon fiber. And I actually love the carbon fiber, and they were super meticulous to make sure they got it right. And it's just a beautiful knife. So we ended up with like a
bonus,
2-for-1.
Like a bonus version, like that wasn't planned.
Yes,
carbon
exactly.
fiber. That's awesome.
So, and I love it. People have really enjoyed it. It's more of a premium offering. It's a shredded carbon fiber. But the thing about shredded carbon fiber that I hate is a lot of times it'll have like a chalky feeling to it and it like grinds my gears. This is not chalky at all. It's just a really nice, smooth finish that is not gross. There's some gross carbon fiber out there, guys. Like like middle school chalkboard
Yeah.
feeling. Oh,
Yeah.
it's terrible. Anyway, so we got a twofer on that, but
Yep.
then we got a threefer because in the meantime,
The
Baby Banter comes out,
Yeah.
2021, and Wee's like, well, why don't we do the Baby Banter in Micarta as well? And I'm like, sweet, let's do it.
So we have the Baby Banter and the Micarta Baby Banter and the Micarta Banter both being released mid-September. Same time, same release.
Yep. Same release. This one. So if you've taken apart a Baby Banter, same thing on that one. Is it has two steel pieces in there that are basically they're inserts instead of a liner. So we went full liner on this one too. So it's kind of fun too. I can't tell you about this yet, but it opens the door to more natural materials.
Yeah.
And so we've got perhaps some more natural materials coming out, which is exciting. So it kind of changes the original thought of making it super lightweight, but it opens this door to having a lot more variety and making sure that it's right for these natural materials. So yeah, Baby Banter coming out too.
Love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And that's going to retail right around $60.
Yep. So just that, and that's the fun thing about these Micarta ones is they're not that much more expensive than the G10 editions. So stonewash finish on this one, stonewash titanium there.
Still Nitro V blade still
Nitro V, and then on the Banter as well, you got that black stonewash hardware. So just two different branches of the same tree, all just hanging out. But I brought along a brick of these just because.
Just visuals?
Just for visuals. I actually brought the whole box. Yeah. Do you want to see the box set?
Let's see the box.
Okay,
I want to see what you got.
Just for the people at home. Dude, check this. Check
Oh,
this
yeah.
out. Check it out. Man. And this is only like half of them.
Yeah.
Can you I can't even.
Oh my gosh.
So like when we was like, hey, what should we do about this? I'm like, don't choose me. Don't pick me. Like, so like every single. I mean, you imagine there's like 7-8 screws on a Banter.
Yeah.
Every single one of those had to come off.
Poor Kyle.
Poor Kyle and Amy. Like
Amy.
They're 4 fingers. Yeah, I mean, and I realize like manufacturing, like this happens all the not it happens all the time, but assembly happens all the time, right? And but for somebody that doesn't do it all the time, that is just like a knife enthusiast, that's kind of where we threw at Amy and Kyle.
Yeah.
We're like, you guys know what you're doing. You know what's supposed to happen. But we definitely like threw them in the deep end. We're like,
I love it.
1,000 knives for you. So, yeah.
I love it. I'm so happy that it came full circle, that we have the Micarta Banter coming out right now. Guys, I know you've been waiting for it, especially everybody who kind of got a little peek into the inside. Here and there were little pieces. Like I had thrown up an Instagram post like the day before.
Yes.
It was recalled from the dealers, and I was like, shoot. Oh, well.
Yeah, it literally just, it felt like something that you let out into the wind. Like, there's been this guy that monthly, he sends me an Instagram message. He's like, is the Micarta Banter released yet? And I'm like, no, it's not. I'm so sorry. And it's like a painful thing. So to me, I'm thrilled to have it releasing. I'm excited about it. It's worth noting too, like you and I were having a conversation about Micarta. And the Baby Banter and the Banter, they're coming in this Micarta that is a little bit more grippy, which to me is, you prefer the more grip.
You sanded yours.
I did. I sanded it just today.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of myself.
I see. like you said. So this is a sanded version.
Yes.
Let's pop this one in.
Yep.
And this is the one that I just pulled out of the box today.
And I doubt camera-wise you're going to be able to see this.
Probably not. But it actually looks to me like you took a little bit of time and you hit the edges and stuff.
I oiled it too.
You oiled it?
Yeah,
Okay.
a little bit of mineral oil on there. But that's kind of a fun thing because if you compare it to the Lumi, Justin Lundquist, front flipper by the way. Justin, I struggle. Actually, this is a top flipper.
This is a good attempt.
I know, I'm sorry. This one comes a little bit smoother. So once it's smooth, you can't go back to rough. But if it's a little rough, you can always go to smooth, and you can let it patina on its own. So
I like the rough Micarta. Like when I pulled this out, I was like, nice. I was like, they nailed this one.
Yeah.
And you pulled it out, and you're like, shoot.
And I sanded it down. But the nice thing is, I started with a 220 grit, and then just went up to like a 1500 grit, and by the time I was done, it doesn't have to be crazy. It was just like, this is easy.
Yeah.
So kind of I don't know if that's a feature.
It
Would you call
is.
that a feature?
It is customizable.
Customizable. Yes.
Yes.
I like
to
that.
your preferred texture.
Yeah. So that is the Baby Banter in Micarta. Kind of a saga.
Beautiful.
Bit of an epic. So.
Love the saga. Love what you're doing. Love the whole product line. So
Thanks.
can't wait to see something else, something new.
Oh, there's more coming.
always more.
Yeah, I have all these weird ideas. So like, I'm kind of a platform person, right? You make a banter, you make a baby banter.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you make a big banter, right? You
Maybe.
have a little fun with it. But I think my brain works in themes, and I think I learned this from Ken Onion. Ken Onion's like, look, we're gonna make a leek, we're gonna make a chive, we're gonna make I forget the name of his other one, scallion. It's Ken Onion designing knives that are called after these plants, right? And that to me is really fun. He didn't say I'm gonna design a knife, I'm gonna design a line. And so I've taken a lot from Ken in that you can take these knives and you can create a series, you can create a line. And that's kind of what we're doing with the banter. And I'm just stoked that we and Civivi are like, yeah, let's do it. And I'm like, sweet, let's make it small. Let's make it in Micarta. So it's great.
Awesome. So Willie will be excited to see what else is coming new from you.
Absolutely.
We will record another video here in a minute. That will
Stay tuned.
So stay tuned next month or thereafter.
Yeah.
Always good stuff coming. Ben, so happy to have
Thanks,
you here.
Jeff.
We will bring you. You're always welcome in the studio.
Thank you.
And
look, guys, I'm gonna put a plug in for Sept.
Oh.
No, look. He goes to the work to create these videos. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notification bell. Do the thing. Comment, because all of that helps. Like, I think when a company takes the time to do this stuff and you're interested in it, take half a second and give it some algorithm love. So, doesn't that sound
one of my
nice?
favorite words?
No, but
algorithm.
and I believe that. So subscribe to the channel.
Thanks, Ben.
There's a plug for you.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Thanks for watching, everybody. You're here. You're paying attention. You are already doing the right thing.
Good job, guys.
Good job. Thanks for being here.
Love
Catch us. We've got a whole bunch of other videos that are dropping for new models in both the Wii line and the Civivi line right as this video comes out. So check out everything else and let us know what you love, what you can't live without, or what you would change about Ben's designs.
Ooh, that'll be a fun conversation in the comments. Ooh.
Those are always my favorite.
And I will jump in the comments and I will be like, no, you're wrong. Here's why.
My favorite. They always start out, this would be perfect if.
Yes. And you're like, be my guest.
I love it. I love it. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.